This email says, hey, Romy, the Lakers should bring in Neems to recite the poem to Paul George. Dan from south of Seatown. All right, little walk down memory lane. Neems is John Neems. John Neems was a singer-songwriter either from Las Vegas or lived in Las Vegas. Neems, way back in the day, wrote a song called Michael's Dad, about Michael Jordan's dad. I heard it. I hated it. I said so. Neems went crazy, and understandably so, right? He was proud of his song. He went on and on about how the song had been sold in 200 countries or something. Imagine there was no internet. There was no cellular technology. This thing came in the mail to me, and I dropped it in, and I listened to it. I mean, this is a real song. This is the guy singing his guts out. How proud he must have been to be Michael's dad, watching his son get better and better year after year.
It won't be easy.
You believe this?
Number 23, when you lose your best friend.
I mean, my man could not have been more proud of that song. And I couldn't be more anxious to get behind a microphone and tell him how much I thought it sucked. And this became kind of a beef. I'd say me against Neems, but really it was like the world against Neems. So we kind of worked it out over the period of several years and had a laugh about it. But what it did was it spawned an all-time jungle moment when Iafrate came in during the smack-off. And this was long before there were parodies and things of that nature. Iafrate composed what might have been the first ever parody and did so in the smack-off, and he called it Whitey's son. Whitey's dad. Whitey predated Alvin, Brian Albers. And if you think Alvin's good, I mean, Whitey was essentially Alvin's mentor. Whitey trained Alvin to be the legend that Alvin is. So Whitey really was a legend. Iafrate came in and dropped Whitey's dad as a tip of the hat to Neems. He's playing this himself.
We've all been watching a guy on Romy's team perform like no albino ever has, and always behind him for the world to see a beaming Mr. Albers, smiling Whitey.
Since it's smack-off season, I want to say Iafrate won in 2004 with this.
How proud he must have been to be Whitey.
It's kind of hard to even say how amazing that was, because that Neems song was so famous, and Iafrate rolls in with this idea. Playing his Casio,
it must have felt
composed that song, and dropped this in the smack-off.
Watching his son hit the buzzer.
He did this live, and we had no idea that it was coming. I mean, it slayed. It absolutely killed.
Good night now, Los Angeles.
Iafrate out of nowhere with that. And he ripped the crown in 04. You know, like, even Lef had to know, went to school on that. You've got to do something like that sometimes. Something really dramatic. And Iafrate did it. So when this guy writes, hey, Romy, the Lakers should just bring in Neems to recite that poem to Paul George, that's a deep, 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 deep pull. That is old school. Hawk, I know you don't know Neems. Then again, you don't know Larry Holmes.